What have you learnt about technologies from the process of contracting this product? There's a variety of different technologies that you have to use in order to make a good professional looking film. Many filmmakers use the production cycle in order to ensure that their film remains organised from start to finish. The steps are development, pre-production, production, post-production and distribution. Films take a long time to make, and I think that's something that I underestimated while making this one. I thought that it was going to be a quick process, could be done in a few days. Instead, it took a matter of weeks, if not months. For our development and pre-production process, we used a variety of websites. We used Blogger to document our process, and there you can find stuff like our script, our shot list, and even our opening analysis. We used YouTube and Art of the Title to research openings and understand more about genre and the conventions which create a good film opening. We used Celtx to create our script. This created an extremely professional looking script and it was very easy to use. We used SoundCloud and Spotify in order to find sound and music which went along with our film. For the production process, I used a Canon 5D to shoot the film with a 75 to 300mm lens. We tried to vary the shot sizes in order to create a more interesting and aesthetic film. I watched a lot of tutorials to try and understand how to get a good film look. However, I think I could have put more effort into adjusting shutter speed and aperture and making the film look perfect how I wanted it to be. We tried to use a fluid head tripod, but that unfortunately broke on the day, as well as a gimbal which also broke on the day of our filming. This has taught me a lot for next year's project and was definitely a learning curve. For the post-production process, I used Final Cut and After Effects. I prefer Final Cut over Premiere as I find the layout a lot easier to use, but it's still an extremely professional editing software. I used After Effects for the special effects at the end and for the idents which I created from scratch. I added effects on Premiere and a title sequence and also colour graded the film. For sound, we used Diegetic and a soundtrack which I found on Spotify. I used freesound.org for the sounds that I didn't capture whilst filming. I used a website called flvto.biz to download sound bites of news broadcasts and news podcasts from YouTube. I also used YouTube for the distribution process, and I put the film out there on YouTube from the first demo to the last demo. It was interesting to understand all the different technologies that become part of making a good professional looking film. It was interesting to see that a lot of these things could be found on the internet. It's nice to know that nowadays you can create a professional looking film at home with just the resources that you have on your computer. This also showed me how technologically converged we are nowadays. It was an extremely fun process, which I think there are a lot of things I could have done better, but in the end I'm happy with the final result.